Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from the Realistic FPS series. In this video, we'll build a multi-weapon system and create our rifle. This video might be a bit complicated and fast for beginners. You can set the play rate to 0.5x if you need, but keep in mind, I explained all of the system's nodes and functions we've used. For the assets I use, you need to become a member in Buy Me a Coffee, and it takes $5 per month. Also, you can join our Discord server for your questions about the tutorials and the channel. This video took 2 hours to record and more than 5 hours to edit. So if you want to support me, the best thing you can do is subscribing to my channel and liking the video. Let's get to the video. Go to Weapons, create a new folder called HK416 and open it up. Then click on the Import button, then open up the Assets folder, HK416, select the FBX file, and click on Import All. You can close this warning. Again, click on Import, Textures folder, and import all of the textures. Create a folder called Materials. Then create another folder called Textures. And create another one called Mesh. Select the meshes and move them into their folder. Then do the same thing for Materials and Textures. Open up the Low material. Delete the basic texture. Go to the Textures folder and select all the textures starting with Low and drag and drop them in the material. Get the low underscore color and connect it to the base color. Then get the metal, multiply it with -1, and connect it to metallic. Get the roughness, multiply it with 4, and connect. Then get the normal and AO and connect them. Right-click and search for Material Function Call. Then set the function to Anti-Near Clip and connect it to World Position Offset. Hit Apply and save. Then open up the Sights material and import the textures that include sights in their name. Connect the color to base color, metal to metallic, roughness to roughness, normal to normal, and AO to ambient occlusion. Lastly, get the anti-near clip like the low material and connect it to world position offset. Create another folder in the HK416 called Animations. Hit Import and go to HK416 and Animations. Then import the animations. Set the skeleton to HK416 skeleton. Then again create a folder in HK416 and name it Audio. Open it up and create 2 folders called Cues and WAVs. Open up the WAVs and import the Fire audio files. Then go to Cues and create a sound cue called Q_HK416_fire. Open it up and drag and drop the fire WAVs we've imported. Select all and add a random node. Then connect it to the output. Go to First Person Arms Animations, create a folder called M1911, and move all the animations into that folder. Then create a new folder called HK416 and open it up. Hit Import and go to First Person Arms and HK416 in the Assets folder and import all of the animations. Set Skeleton to SK Mannequin Arms. Go to M1911 and import the animations for the M1911 too. Again, set the skeleton to SK Mannequin Arms. Go to the audio folder, create a new folder called M1911, and move the reload folder into it. Then create a new folder called HK416. Open it up and create two folders called Cues and WAVs. Hit Import and select all the audio files of the HK416 in the audio folder. Then select all of them, right-click, and select Create Multiple Cues. Then move all the WAVs into their folder. Then do the same thing for the cues. Go to M1911 and again create two folders called WAVs and Cues. Hit Import and select the audio file of the M1911 in the audio folder. Create a cue from it and move the files into their folders. Go to First Person Arms Animations, HK416, and create a montage from Equip, Fire, Inspect, Reload, Reload Not Full, and Stow. Then open up the Equip montage, set the slot to Arms, blend in time to 0.05, and blend out time to 0.1. Then go to 13.84% and add a play sound notifier and set the sound to HK416 arm cue. Go to 19.9% and first add a track, then add a play sound notifier and set the sound to HK416 hand cue. Lastly, set the volume multipliers of the both notifiers to 1.5. Open up the Fire montage, set the slot to Arms, blend in time to 0, and blend out time to 0.1. Open up the Reload montage, set the slot to Arms, and add the ANS weapon anim notifier at the beginning. And set the animation to HK416 Reload. Do the same things, but this time set the animation to HK416 reload not full. Open up the stow montage, set the blend in time to 0.05, blend out time to 0.1, and slot to arms. Then go to 68.14% and add a play sound notifier and set the sound to HK416 arm Q and set its multiplier to 1.5. Then go to 94.24% and add a play sound notifier and set the sound to HK416 arm 2Q and set its multiplier to 1.5. Now go back to the M1911 folder and create animation montages from equip and stow animations. Then open up the equip one, set the slot to arms, blend in time, and blend out time to 0.1. And set their blend modes to quadratic in-out. Then go to 19.38% and add a play sound notifier and set the sound to QM1911 hand. Open up the stow montage, set the slot to arms, blend in time to 0, and blend out time to 0.05. Then go to 87.04%. Add a play sound notifier, set the sound to M1911 arm Q, and set its volume multiplier to 1.5. Go to the first person character and open up the skeleton file. Rename the socket to grip_M1911. Press right click and select Remove all attached assets. Then right click on the hand R and select Add Socket and name it grip_HK416. Set the transform of the socket as shown in the video. Go to First Person and Structures. Open up the Weapon montages and add 2 more anim montages called Equip and Stow. Then create a new structure called st_weapon slots. Open it up and change the first variable type to weapon base class reference and name it first slot. Add another variable and name it second slot. Then add two integer variables called first slot ammo and second slot ammo. Then go to the enums folder and create an enum called e_active_slot and open it up. Then add three options called first slot, second slot, and none. Then go to the camera shake folder and rename the camera shake to CS_M1911_fire. Duplicate the camera shake, rename it to CS_HK416_fire, and set the amplitude of X to 15 and the amplitude of Z to 5. Go to the Input Actions folder and create two new input actions called IA_first slot and IA_second slot. Add the pressed trigger to both of them. Then go to IMC and bind our new input actions. I'll bind the first slot to 1 and the second slot to 2. Open up the weapon base and go to the event graph. First, we will categorize the variables as BP variables and settings. Player ref, reloading, and current ammo will be in the BP variables. And you can move the remainings into the settings. Then enable the Advanced Display option for the variables in the BP variables. Create a new variable called Fire Shake and set its type to Camera Shake Base Class Reference. Create a name variable called Grip Socket. They both will be in the Settings category. We can delete the stow event and this node from the Event Begin Play. And move the Update Ammo Display node to the Equip event. Then open up the Weapon M1911. Click on the Anim Montages and set the Equip to FP_M1911_equip_montage. And the Stow to M1911 Stow Montage. Then set the Fire Shake to M1911_fire and Grip Socket to Grip_M1911. Create a child BP of the weapon base and name it weapon underscore HK 416. Move it into HK 416 and open it up. Set the name to HK 416 and mesh to HK 416, damage to 10, fire delay to 0.1, range to 10,000, fire mode to automatic, mag size to 24, fire sound to Q underscore HK 416 underscore fire. Fire montage to FPHK 416 fire montage. Fire last montage to FPHK 416 fire montage. Reload to FPHK 416 reload montage. Reload not full to FPHK 416 reload not full montage. Equip montage to FPHK 416 equip montage, stow montage to FPHK 416 stow montage, fire shake to CS underscore HK 416 underscore fire, grip socket to grip underscore HK 416. Open up the BP first person character and go to the event graph. We didn't categorize the variables from the last video, so select Inspecting and set its category to Inspect, and set the category of remainings to Body Cam. Create a new variable called Weapon Slots and set its type to ST Weapon Slots. Create another variable called Active Weapon Slot and set its type to eActive Slot. Lastly, create a Boolean variable called Weapon Changing. Set the weapon slot's default variable as shown. First slot to HK 416. Second slot to M1911. And first slot ammo to -1 and second slot ammo to -1. Set the active weapon slot to none. Then create a macro called unarmed. Add a branch and connect the pins as shown. Rename the output pins as shown. Get the active weapon slot and check if it is equal to none. Then create another macro called not changing weapon. Add a branch and connect the false to outputs and name it true. Get the weapon changing and connect it to the branch. Then go to Fire Event and place the macros as shown in the video. Then go to ADS event. And again, place the macros as shown. go to Inspect Event and place macros. Go to Reload Event and do the same thing. Then go to the event graph and delete the event begin play. Go to the construction script and delete the nodes. Select the weapon and clear the child actor class and the parent socket. Create a new macro called Interact Weapon. Add two exec inputs named first slot and second slot. Get two not changing weapon macros and connect as shown. Then set the weapon changing to true. Get the active weapon slot and call two switch nodes. Create two macros called Equip and Stow. Get the active weapon slot and call a switch node. Get a set weapon slot node and split it into pins. Call the get weapon and get the current ammo. Then again, get the weapon slots and split it into pins. Then connect the pins as shown. Call the getWeapon function. Get the first person mesh. And call the playMontage node. Then get the montages from the weapon and connect the stow montage to the montage to play input. From the blend out, get a 1-second delay and connect it to outputs. Open up the equip macro, get the weapon slots variable and split it into pins. Then get the active weapon slot, get a select node, and connect the weapon slots to the select node. Get the weapon and set the child actor class to the output of the select node. Add a branch, copy and paste the nodes shown, but connect the ammo variables. and check if the select node is not equal to -1. Get the active weapon slot, call the switch node, and connect it to the false output, call the get weapon, then get the mag size. Call a set weapon slot node and split it into pins. Connect the pins. Duplicate the nodes. Again, connect the pins. Get the weapon slots variable and split it into pins. Then connect the pins. Duplicate these nodes and call the get weapon again, and set the current ammo. Get the active weapon slot variable, get a not equal node, change the parameter to none, and connect it to a branch. Connect the both exec pins to the branch. Before this branch in the upper exec pin, call the get weapon function and set the current ammo to the output of the select node. Then connect it to the branch. From true output, get the attach component to component first person mesh function. Connect the first person mesh to parent and connect the weapon to target. Call the get weapon function and get the grip socket from it and connect the pins. Get a play montage node and connect the first person mesh. Then get the equip montage from the weapon as shown. Again, call the get weapon function and call the equip event from the first exec pin. Lastly, connect the on blend out to the output and rename the pin to completed. Back to the interact weapon macro, call the stow macro and connect it to first slot. Then set the child actor of the weapon to none. Set the active weapon slot to none. Again, get the stow macro set the active weapon slot to first slot and call the equip macro. Set the active weapon slot to first slot and call the equip macro. Set the weapon changing to false and connect the execution pins. Then go to the lower bracket, get the stow macro, then set the active weapon slot to second slot, and call the equip macro. Copy and paste the selected nodes as shown. Set the active weapon slot to second slot, and call the equip macro. Again, set the weapon changing to false and connect the execution pins. Lastly, connect the set boolean nodes to the outputs. Go to the event graph, get the IA underscore first slot, call the interact weapon, and connect it to first slot. Then get the IA underscore second slot and do the same thing, but connect it to second slot. Select all the nodes, right-click, and select Collapse Nodes. Name it Slot Event. Go to the animation blueprint and go to the event graph. Get the player ref and get the active weapon slot and the weapon changing. Promote the weapon changing to a variable with the same name. Then get the weapon slots and split it into pins. Then get a select node from the active weapon slot and connect the pins. Promote the outcome to a variable called active weapon. Open up the anim graph, go to the beginning of the execution, create a state machine called locomotion, and open it up. Create a state called no pose. Then create another one called M1911 and connect it to no pose. Copy and paste the old animation nodes into our new state as shown. Duplicate the M1911 state and connect as shown and rename it to HK416. And create another state called changing weapon. And connect it to no pose. Back in the anim graph, delete the old nodes and connect the locomotion to the execution line. In locomotion, select the path shown and connect the weapon changing to the input. Again, do the same thing, but get a not bool this time. Select the path shown and check if the active weapon equals to M1911 and the weapon changing is not true. copy and paste the nodes into the path shown, and change the active weapon input to HK416. Again, go into the path and check if active weapon is not equal to both weapons. Also, copy and paste the nodes for another path too, as shown. Open up the HK416. Delete the sprint animation and place the HK416 sprint. Do the same thing for the idles. But for the upper idle, set the play rates to 0. And for the lower idle, set the loop to true. Set the blend nodes parameters to 0.2. Also do the same thing for the M1911. Go to the fire event in weapon base and go to the start fire event and go to the play world camera shake node. Get the fire shake variable and connect it to input as shown. Go to the HK416 and open up its skeleton. Then create a socket called muzzle and set its location as shown. Then create another socket called sight and set its location as shown. Go to a ds_calc and open it up. Set the weapon mesh to HK416 and socket to grip_HK416. Select the skeletal mesh and set the animation to FPHK416 idle. Place it into the game and copy the ADS output values. Then paste the values to the ADS offset of the weapon HK416. Back in first-person character, select the mesh route and disable camera rotation lag. Go to Animations, HK416, and open up the reload animation. Add play sound notifiers as shown in the video. Then do the same thing for the reload not full. Go to Fire Event in Weapon Base and call the Stop Fire event from the false output as shown. There are some bugs that you will face. Automatic fire is broken. Weapon widget doesn't show up correctly with the rifle. Weapon is clipping when you look down. Inspect animation is not working for the rifle. And the character doesn't stop sprinting when you start shooting. I'll fix these bugs in the next video, because this is already so long. If you face a bug that is not on that list, just let me know on the Discord server. The detailed explanation will be in the next video after I fix the bugs. I love you guys so much. I hope your project is going good. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our Discord server. See you in the next video. Bye.